All right, and here we are once again. We're going to go and look at what is happening out in the world of President Trump and also RFK Jr. So, lots of things going on between these two candidates, and I'm just going to cover just a few things here today. Looking at the Team Kennedy YouTube channel, this is where you want to go for any and all new information here. So there's a few good videos. I'm going to play this 4.5 minute clip. I feel like this one is a very, very strong clip. Let me see. It looks like I've already need to go back. Boom. To the beginning. Excellent clip here. Oh, only on 720. All right. Let's do it.
Do you ever worry that you are actually physically in danger for what you're standing for now?
The answer to that is I do not worry. My life is in God's hands. I need to do what I believe is the right thing to do, and whatever the cost is. My father and uncle were both fatalistic. They both knew that if they were involved in a high-risk enterprise, and they believed that the stakes were high enough to justify their entry. And I think both of them believed that there were a lot worse things than dying. One of the things that would be worse than death would be losing our freedoms and living like slaves. It has been the ambition of every totalitarian regime in the history of mankind to exert total control over every aspect of human behavior, over not only our movements, our transactions, our organization, but also ultimately our speech and our thought and what we read. In the past, none of those regimes has been able to manage that because they simply did not have the technological capacity to control every aspect of human behavior, to control what you were doing, what you were saying in your house, what your movements were. Today, we have created this wave of technology. What we're creating is this kind of turnkey totalitarianism, where the next totalitarian regime that steps up and really wants to clamp things down, they're going to have all of these mechanisms in place like no regime has had it in human history. In normal circumstances, I would not do this. But these are not normal circumstances. I'm watching my country being stolen from me. And I don't. And I owe it to my children, to my family, and my legacy. My father would say to us, when he came back one time from the Delta, we were all at the dinner table when he came in, and he said, I was in a tar paper shack today. It was smaller than this dining room, and there were two families living there, and the children get one meal a day. And when you get older, I want you to help those people. And when we would go into Southeast Washington or Appalachia, he would say to us, these are your people. These are Kennedy people. He said the other people, the big shots, the corporations, the millionaires don't need the Kennedys. They have lobbyists. They have PR firms. They have lawyers. And he said, these are your people. And these are the people you need to spend your life out with. And when I'm president, I'm going to be president for those people. We're going to really take back this country. You give me a piece of ground and a sword, and I am going to take back this country with your help, to help all the homeless Republicans and Democrats and independents who are Americans first. Thank you all.
We need a revolution. I would say that a peaceful revolution, and a revolution that brings us back to the values that have been robbed from us over the past 40 years.
And that is the most important topic on earth: peace. What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace in all time.
Wow, very powerful. I thought that was a very powerful, 4 or 5 minute clip there. It's just on and on and on. So we will see what happens. Where do we go from here? Where does the country go from here? Got another clip. That one is a little bit longer though. It's about 13 minutes, 16 minutes. I don't know if I'll play that one here, but I really just want to see what else is going on in the worlds of Trump and Kennedy. So let's go take a look at Twitter and see what Robert Kennedy is doing over there. All right, so here is where are we at? Here it is. Twitter feed, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Let's see. Judge got it exactly right when he wrote, freedom of speech and press is the indispensable condition of nearly every other form of freedom. Without freedom of speech, there is no democracy. So there it is. Not another one of his responses. What's going on here with Dennis Kucinich? Dennis Kucinich says, and this is Robert F. Kennedy retweeting this, I guess. One reason Kennedy is catching on is that the public is fed up with the media smears. People are answering the attacks by opening up their wallets. There it is. And I think that's one difference between Robert F. Kennedy and Donald Trump, the greatest president of our time, I would say. But Trump does go after people. He will go after people. You're not going to see the same mentality from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's just not going to happen. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing for him. I think it works for Trump. I don't think that would work for RFK Jr. But that's also what's nice about listening to and watching RFK is because of that, because he is different. Now there's a lot of similarities between Trump and between Kennedy. What's this one here? We are pleased to announce the participation of Mr. Robert Kennedy Jr. at the NALEO 40th Annual Conference. All right. Mr. Kennedy will address Latino leaders from across the nation during the Presidential Candidate Forum Thursday, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So next week. All right. Let me mark that down too, so I don't forget. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think really excited about the future and the hope for this great nation, for this great country, which it still is. The Republic is not lost yet. This American experiment is going on and will continue to go on until God shuts it down. That's it. Hopefully it won't be until Jesus Christ returns, but only God knows that for sure. I posted a video. I think I talked about this last time. The replay video from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the News Nation interview, and it got taken down for medical misinformation. So I got to be a little bit more careful about that. Kind of knew that was coming, so glad it happened on the other channel, not this one here, so I can still do these live shows, which I really enjoy doing as I work on the book Kennedy and Trump, Trump and Kennedy, whatever it's going to be called in the end. That's the book, the current book that I am writing right now, in the process of writing, which will include, hopefully, some of the early days of COVID and some of the factual data regarding voter fraud 2020. That is the plan, at least. But we all know what happens with plans. Sometimes they don't work out all the way. But I'm really enjoying just doing the research. I have also been part of that research. I went to my personal library and found a book called Killing The killing of Robert F. Kennedy. It has nothing to do with Bill O'Reilly's killing garbage books that he's been writing. And this was by, what's his name? Dan Moldea. Let me pull that up. Really enjoying this one here. More from a journalistic point of view, which is always nice. So I will share this here. This is a book I just started reading. This book here. I don't know. Is it picking? Okay, good. I just started this one. Only about 10 pages in so far, and I really am enjoying it. It is a very balanced book so far. Lots of quotes from the people involved, including Sirhan Sirhan, the missing time that Sirhan had. But I love anything with timelines, with a lot of factual data, sources. That's going to win me over. And I'm really enjoying this book so far as part of the research process for the book that I'm working on. Still waiting for more of Trump and Kennedy to address each other. You can see a little hair issue there. To address each other. And we may not get too much more of that. But as we get closer to the 2024 presidential primaries, I'm hoping that they will address each other a little bit more. Kennedy is asked constantly about Trump, but I don't see a lot of people asking Trump about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'd like to see more of that, but I understand why. And I hope there's a lot of things that Donald Trump can learn from RFK Jr. And I think he can, and I think he may have, and I think he may be in that process. Even Trump's last speech sounded a little bit more different, a little more calm, a little more chill. But Trump has every right to be angry, to be put on the defensive because he was put in that spot. He is mostly responding to the attacks that he's been under and continues to be under, all the spying, all of these tactics that we're seeing the same thing happening with RFK Jr. So I don't blame Trump for it. Whatever he's doing has worked for him and will continue to work for him, I think. But I'd like to see a little bit more chill from Trump. I don't. That's just me. So now let's go. Speaking of the man of the hour, I'm going to jump over and see what is new in Trump land here. What is the man doing? So let's go. Always look at the events and the issues in the news. News is probably one of the better spots here if you just want to, like me, quickly get caught up. You don't have a lot of time to sit there and look for everything, read everything. He is going to speak. So he's got a lot more speakings coming up. Let's see what he says here. This is from the 6th, which would be yesterday. Oh, today he says this. Okay. Sometimes he'll add the video too. I don't see any video on this, but what is he saying? President Donald J. Trump's Supreme Court justices have delivered massive wins. There you go. Last week, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down massive wins for the American people, halting Joe Biden's unconstitutional student loan gimmick, restoring fairness to the college admissions process, and applying the strongest safeguards to First Amendment rights in a generation. One thing is clear. These wins... Uh-oh, what happened there? That was weird. One thing is clear. Just make sure I'm still... I'm seeing some glitching on my side. One thing is clear. These wins were only made possible through President Trump's strong nomination of 3 distinguished, courageous jurists to the Supreme Court. Since the historic confirmation of President Trump's 3 nominees, the Supreme Court has delivered huge wins for the American people and the rule of law. This includes protecting the unborn. Sorry, I don't know why. All of a sudden my computer decides it wants to glitch out here. But as long as it's still live, as long as everything is still working, I will continue on. Yeah, looks all right to me. Okay, weird. Where was I? So there we go. Okay, they're protecting the unborn, ending affirmative action, halting Biden's student loan gimmick. All good stuff, right? Can't say anything bad about any of that. I'm all for it. Protecting free speech, safeguarding Second Amendment rights. All good stuff. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Now he's going to be doing 2 speakings coming up. The next one looks like it's going to be in Nevada. Let's see what date that is. That will be Saturday on the 8th. So that should be good. Sometimes these are shown, sometimes they're not. So we'll see if we can find a stream for that. Would be nice to have. It's so weird. My computer is just glitching out. But everything seems to be still running live, so I'm going to keep going. It's just a little distracting. So those are the only recent news articles, recent news things for Donald Trump that I see here on the website, donaldjtrump.com/news. Campaign announces an agricultural policy panel discussion. Okay, in Iowa. So the Iowa one is the one I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be tomorrow, July 7th, on Friday, July 7th. This is going to be in Council Bluffs, Iowa at 1 p.m. Central Time. An agriculture policy panel discussion will precede President Trump's remarks. So that should be good. President Trump will then speak at 1 p.m. Okay, so that looks like that's all there is for that session. Now I'm going to look at... Let's look at Truth Social, see what's happening on Truth Social since we're still looking at what President Trump is up to. Let's go to, where's the man here? Real Donald Trump. Look at this. Ben Carson is a big fan of this movie, and I am a big fan of Ben. He asked me to post this because he thought it was so good. Enjoy. Sound of Freedom. That's interesting. So Trump is posting that too. That movie, $14 million budget. That thing is going to exceed all expectations. Here is what Trump said, President Trump said about 23 hours ago. Where are the White House security tapes, like the ones I openly and happily gave to deranged Jack Smith, which will quickly show where the cocaine in the White House came from? They already know the answer, but probably don't like it. So one thing I heard today on the Dan Bongino show about those, about the cocaine found in the White House, first was the East Wing, then the West Wing, is that the Bidens were not there this weekend. Pretty much insinuating that it couldn't have come from them. So stay tuned with that, and we'll see where the cocaine bear ends up. That should be pretty interesting, though. I don't know. What else is Trump saying here? Also says, whatever happened to the 1,850 boxes of documents that Biden won't show to anybody? What about the docs from Chinatown, D.C.? And those are in his unsecured garage, where Hunter stayed as China was sending Biden millions and millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. Maybe the nothing was for doing plenty. It's a good one. He also says, does anybody really believe that the cocaine found in the West Wing of the White House, very close to the Oval Office, is for the use of anyone other than Hunter and Joe Biden? But watch, the fake news media will soon start saying the amount found was very small and it wasn't really cocaine, but rather common ground up aspirin, and the story will vanish. Has deranged Jack Smith, the crazy Trump-hating special prosecutor, been seen in the area of the cocaine? He looks like a crackhead to me. He's too funny. He's just too much. He's way too funny here. Trump's position is much more dominant, according to Bush Cheney chief specialist. That's from RSBN News. So that's just some funny stuff. He's posting some good stuff over there on Truth Social. Go check that out if you haven't. What's he saying about Ron DeSantis? Here we go. Ron DeSantis is getting absolutely demolished for yesterday's performance in New Hampshire. No crowds, no enthusiasm, no interest. His campaign is in for total disarray. He's hurting himself very badly for 2028. I have to agree with that. See, loyalty does matter with patriots. Last one here. It's too much. It's just really too much. It's a cool photo. Massive prosecutorial misconduct is currently taking place in America. The weaponization of law enforcement cannot be allowed to happen. Crime and inflation are rampant. Our borders are open. Our elections are rigged. Our economy is in shambles. Our energy dependence is gone. Our leader is mercilessly mocked, and our country is being destroyed both inside and out. Do the people of this once great nation even have a choice but to protest the potential doom of the United States of America? 2024. All right. So that's what you get from keeping up with Trump. Lots of interesting things happening as things are heating up. Let's go take a look at what is going on in Kennedy land. Kennedy2024.com. Always something interesting here. A little more lighthearted. Under the news, always check out the interviews and the news coverage. So let's look at the interviews first. So the latest interview he did with Russell Brand, I got about a 2-minute clip of that. I think I'm going to play that. I think I'm going to play that one here. Let's see. Let's see what's going on with that. Back to Team Kennedy. Always good stuff here. This is a 3-minute clip. Brand versus Kennedy to pull-up challenge. A little more lighthearted. And sometimes we need that, right? Sometimes we do.
I have already, to a degree, committed to help raise funds for your campaign, Bobby, through a pull-up challenge, which is seeming increasingly ill-advised because I've now seen you with your top off doing push-ups, and you look hench, you look stacked, you look jacked. I can't believe you've not done that without some kind of pharmaceutical support. There's some incredible upper body strength there. But nevertheless, a pull-up challenge has been agreed to. I'll just may as well reveal now that the process we're well underway. I think that it's going to be a significant battle.
How many pull-ups can you do before?
Listen, I'm not willing to reveal that kind of data prior to the competition, but I'm telling you now that I'm training to win and I'm willing to juice to get there.
I can tell you this, Russell. This is what you have to deal with, because he really works out every day. He hikes, he goes to the gym. I mean, his self-discipline is off the charts, and it looks like yours is too.
But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Russell. I'm going to spot you 10 pull-ups.
Oh.
Absolutely. So the challenge is we can raise $100,000. If we can raise $100,000 worth of donations for Bobby's campaign, then we'll do this pull-up challenge. And if I lose, you could say when I lose, I'll appear at some of Bobby's events, campaigning events, in order to support him further. To donate, go to Kennedy24.com/pull-up. There's a link in the description, which we've got to get to $100,000.
It's a serious issue because we need to start taking care of our own health and stop relying on the pharmaceutical paradigm, not only for our own personal quality of life, but also for the good of our country. We're now spending $4.3 trillion annually in healthcare, and 80% of that is because of chronic disease. So ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Well, the answer to both of those questions right now is to get yourself in shape.
I hope I get to be the counter of the pull-ups when this goes on. I'm going to be, shouting 1, 2. I don't know how many you can do, Russell. I hope more than 2, but.
That smacks of corruption, having the wife of one of the competitors counting. Oh, no. Next, you'll be suggesting Dominion voting machines, which verifiably work, by the way. Verifiably work.
Okay, bye.
Cheryl. To donate, go to Kennedy24.com/pull-up to.
Good there. Very good. Funny stuff. Not really a big fan of Russell Brand, but whatever keeps RFK in the loop, I think is great. He's going to do a great job. RFK Jr. is going to, I think it's going to shock a lot of people. And I think he is exactly what the Democrat Party needs, and what they've been waiting for, what they've been hoping for, to take back their party, similar to what happened when President Trump ran in 2016 and took back the Republican Party, started a revolution, almost a civil war within the party that had been brewing for a long time. And the same thing is happening with the Democrat Party. I believe that's something that has been brewing for a very, very long time. So this is going to be a great, 7 months, I believe, until the primaries start. So that's not very long. It's coming up. It's going to come up quick. And then we're going to see RFK is probably going to win New Hampshire and Iowa, especially if I think he'll win it even if Biden puts his name on the ballot. But if Biden doesn't put his name on the ballot in those two states for the primaries, I think then basically RFK will win those two states, win the first two states there. That will be very important, because Biden is trying to move the Democratic primary, to South Carolina on a different date. And the New Hampshire is having a big issue with that. The state is having a big issue with that due to some laws that says that they have to basically vote first, I guess. So we'll see how all of that pans out. Biden's not doing himself any favors by doing that, though, by changing those things. I don't think it's going to help him or his cause or anyone that may potentially vote for him. But we will see what happens. I'm very curious to see what happens with all of this. But I do not think, if it is a fair and square primary, I do not think that Biden will win re-election. And we'll see it. We'll see what happens. But I think Kennedy is going to do some great things here in this next 7 months or so. And he's got some great opportunities, if nothing else, to speak to the people, similar to how Ron Paul was speaking to the people when he ran as a Republican, and really was a big breath of fresh air. And then came along Trump. So who knows? Kennedy running may just be setting up another Democrat who may do what Trump did. But I think if anyone has the opportunity, if anyone has the chance, it is RFK Jr. And I am just so much looking forward to that showdown. That's the showdown that I want to see. And I'm sure many of you want to see it too. RFK Jr. and Donald Trump on the same stage, talking about these issues that we have, the major issues that we have in this country. I don't believe anybody really wants to see Biden in the White House. I don't believe anybody really ever did. I don't believe he got that many votes that he's claiming that they got. I just don't buy it. And he's not going to have COVID this time for the voter interference. It's going to have to be something else, something different. Now, we know, they always say, third time is a charm, right? Well, had John F. Kennedy in office, he gets killed. We had Robert F. Kennedy Sr., who was probably going to get the nomination, is very, very close to getting the Democrat nomination. He gets killed. Now we have RFK Jr., and I know what some people are expecting to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen. It's all in God's hands. Is he going to be taken out before he gets the chance to face Donald Trump one-on-one? We don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell what the future is. But, I do hold out hope, and always will. Always will. The way that this country was founded, just some amazing things that I believe only God could do. People could not create a country like this and have it last for so long. And the frustration is definitely kicking in. I believe it has kicked in for a lot of people. For me, it's been there for a long time. We had a good 4 years with Donald Trump in office, and I would love to see another 4 years with him back in office. for these next 7 months, I am really enjoying what I'm hearing from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and from President Donald J. Trump, too. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has come out of left field pretty much and is really going to wake up the Democrat Party to get it together, to get back to the Kennedy Democrat era. And is that what we're going to see here for the third time in our lifetime? The Kennedy era. Kennedy era. Number 3, third time is a charm. I do not believe Kennedy can beat President Trump. Don't believe that for a second. I think he'll get really, really close. And I think the conversations, and I think that battle will be very good for this country. It will be a very healthy battle. But I do not believe Kennedy can beat Donald J. Trump. I just don't buy it. The crossover is definitely there. So you will see that. But who knows? Only time will tell. We got about 7 months here to really figure out who the 2 nominees are on both sides, and where it goes from there will be very, very interesting. Those are pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I don't believe there is anything new. There's a lot of new articles that we are seeing. There's even one that talked about RFK running as Trump's vice president. I don't know if that can actually happen or not, but that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see President Trump and RFK on the same ticket. A guy can dream. That's all I'm going to leave you with here on this one. Thank you all for joining me. God bless you all. Remember, everything we do, it's all in God's hands. Be the best person that you can. Love your neighbor. Love your country. Love your God. Help people when you can, if you can. The world does need healing. RFK Jr. is right, and he has done a great job already, I believe, bringing the country back together on both sides. And Kennedy and Trump have both done fantastic jobs of getting people involved, getting us to stay involved in this process. The next 7 months are going to be very, very powerful, and I'm looking forward to it. Until then, God bless you all.